Okay, July 17th. A couple things today. Both are end of wars kind of thing. The first one happened in 1898 when the Spanish surrendered in Santiago, Cuba, thereby ending the Spanish-American War. And the results of that, the end of that war, were basically we'd taken over the rest of Spain's global empire to some extent and kicked them out of the North American, South American areas. We took over the Philippines to where we became the governors over that for many years. Future President William Howard Taft would be the first governor and would serve for a long time as governor of the Philippines. The other presidential thing here is that it was Teddy Roosevelt became famous during the Spanish-American War with the Rough Riders in the charge there in Cuba. So McKinley formally accepted the surrender of the Spanish, thereby ending the Spanish-American War in 1898. The second thing that happened today was the start of the Potsdam Conference, which was Harry Truman, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin met in Potsdam, Germany, which is not too far from Berlin, to formally kind of decide how they were going to, Germany had surrendered, so the question was how do we divvy it up, and you probably know that there were 4 sectors. Berlin was separated, and the Germany itself was separated into 4 sectors: the English, the French, the American, and the Russian sectors. What's interesting about this is France wasn't, even though they were given some allocation of the territory to oversee for a period of years, they weren't invited to the Potsdam Conference, so they were the only country not there. And that was partly, they believe, because FDR and Charles de Gaulle did not get along. So it could be that FDR didn't want that to happen. And then keeping in mind, so again, I said Truman was there because FDR had passed away in April. So Harry Truman was largely left out of all this stuff. I mean, he was FDR's 4th vice president. He was not invited to any meetings. He barely met with FDR. And now all of a sudden, 3-4 months in, he's the president. And so he's being thrown into the middle of these things. So that was interesting. And it's also at that meeting that he hints to Stalin that the Americans had a new weapon, a new massive bomb. Didn't say it was atomic, but that was the first time he kind of hinted to the Russians that we had something major, which we would then use later in the summer on Japan. So that's all I have for you today. I'll see you tomorrow.